2, 3. Welcome to She Rocked It. This is the place where ladies are talking about the ways we're blazing our trails and the things that put the wind in our sails.
Hello and welcome to the She Rocked It podcast. I'm your host, Karen Gross. I am so excited to welcome Kate Marlys from Philly PR Girl to the podcast because I feel like as someone who worked in Philadelphia for many years on the journalism side and the media side and communications, I've known about Kate and Philly PR Girl for years. And I feel like we've been two ships passing and I've always been so excited about everything she's doing. And I get to hear from Kate today on She Rocked It. Hi, Kate. Welcome.
Thank you so much for having me. Exactly like what you said. I'm so excited to finally meet you. And hopefully this is just the beginning of us doing lots of awesome things together.
Amen.
I'm excited
I feel
to be
the same
here.
way.
Yeah, this is going to be great.
Yes. What I really respect about you, Kate, I know that you started Philly PR Girl back in 2010, I believe, as a blog. And I love that it has exploded into this amazing agency, the go-to agency in Philly for so many PR needs and events. It's so inspiring. Can you tell us a little more about what even gave you the courage back then to launch the blog, and raise your voice in that way?
Yeah, I think, I had a lot of jobs. I was that person that always had 2 or 3 jobs at least. And I was just burnt out and I wanted to do something creative. So the blog was just a creative outlet and it was supposed to just be for fun. But I can never do anything small. I always have to take it to the next level, which is a good thing and a bad thing sometimes.
I hear that. But, what's your zodiac sign? Yeah,
I'm a Capricorn.
Capricorn vibes.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So I started throwing these networking events to promote the blog just because I thought blogging was like the new thing. And at the time, it's definitely not what it is now with all the influencers and everything like that. It's such a huge thing for the digital media and marketing world today. Right. But I wanted to meet, again, like-minded people. I wanted to meet other bloggers. And so I started throwing these networking events and they just became a hit. And people started saying like, hey, can I hire you? Because the blog was called Philly PR Girl. And
had you been doing, were you in a PR gig full time? What were you doing day job wise at that time? No.
I was an executive director for nonprofit. So I did marketing, conference planning, ran board meetings. I don't know why I named the blog Philly PR Girl. Best decision I've ever made. Let's be honest.
This is the real story right here.
Yes,
I love that's so interesting. It's like you had a prophetic vision of what your journey was going to be.
It's crazy. And I do believe speak it into existence. I believe that very strongly. So I feel like it was definitely meant to be. With that said, it was a long journey, a long road. So we did the blog for fun for 2 years. I brought on an editor, this amazing girl that just graduated from Drexel, and she edited the blog with me, Victoria, and we're still really close to today. And then after about 2 years, I really thought, okay, let me see what this could become. And I did take the leap. And now this year we're celebrating our 10-year anniversary as a company.
Yes.
So it's crazy.
I love that we're getting to speak to you as part of your 10-year. We are honored to celebrate that huge milestone with you. I love that this started for you as from a place of joy and pleasure and fun of just you obviously are a passionate Philadelphian. You loved things that were going on in the city and you just wanted to write about them. Is that
exactly
true? Would you say? Yeah.
100%. I still do. Our company is an ambassador for the city of Philadelphia. I love the city. I love everything that it brings, our culture, our food, our music. And I feel like the blog, which we still have, it's still on our website. It's still a big part of our brand, supports that. So sometimes we write about things and people get confused. They think they're our clients. I'm like, no, they're just things that we're fans of and that myself and the team like and enjoy. And I also think that, for me, it was important that it wasn't just me picking the events we write about. It wasn't just me picking the things that we cover. on the blog. It's the whole team because we all like different things. And so really, diverse events and things that we cover on the blog. And it's really fun. Every Monday, we have a blog called This Week in Philly, where we list events. It's very simple. This Week in Philly. And I still get so excited when people tell me they read that, because that's really what kicked it all off for us.
Love that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And when does something like, in your opinion, make that shift from a passion project, from something that you just love doing to like, this is going to be my new career trajectory? Like, when was that moment for you? How did that like become from, fun, passion thing that you were doing to like, I'm going to take this seriously. I'm going to even leave my day job.
Yeah. What I usually say is it's all about timing, and you have to know that you are ready to dedicate, your life to something that, I always say, like, if you start a company, make sure it's something you enjoy and you're passionate about, because it's not easy. But for me, it was the right time. I was in between jobs and I was doing Philly PR Girl, and I was sort of like, I left my nonprofit world because I thought I was ready to do Philly PR Girl full time. I got cold feet, took another job, and it didn't last long because I knew that was a mistake. Like, I knew that I was ready. So I went back and I was like, no, Kate, like you can do this. Like, I needed like a pep to pep talk myself. And, and then honestly, there's no looking back. Once I gave it my all, and once I was like, okay, I started this company when I was in my 30s. So like, I had a mortgage, I was paying my own bills, so yeah, there was no failing, and, we started small and started bringing on some interns. And I remember when I got my first full-time employee, I was like, wow, this is crazy. Like I actually have someone that I'm responsible for. And now we have, a much bigger team, which, I'm sure we'll talk about later, but, it is a lot of responsibility to own your own business. But at the same time, I usually say like, it's stressful, but it's like good stress. Like it's your stress, and how much you can handle and how much you can't. And so for me, like, I knew I was ready when it was time. It was just the right time.
I'm glad that you're, being honest with us about the fact that it can be hard. Yeah. I coincidentally have had my own communications consultancy for 10 years. Actually, funny enough, 2013 was the end of my last full-time job. And, it's hard. It can be hard, and there can be ups and downs. And I think that, any entrepreneur who's like, this is just peaches and cream all the time. And it's just like, you can make your own life. And it's, but I think that's true. What has kind of kept you motivated in the times when things got hard?
I would say that I'm, passionate about what I do, and I love my clients. Mm-hmm. So my clients keep me motivated for sure. We do turn down clients that, we just are not connected with. And we have very lucky to where I don't really do outside sales because clients hear about us from word of mouth or social media or existing clients. So we do have people that, I'm constantly talking to people and trying to see if it's a good fit. And also I look at like, is this something that the team's passionate about too? Now that it's not just me, is this something that I feel like Adriana would be great at, or Lena would love, so I consider that as well. So that motivates me. Their successes motivate me. We always joke around, like, big or small, when we get press for clients, like, we have to celebrate them, like high fives, like, let's be proud of what we did, big or small,
Let's talk about your team too, because you just said a moment ago, first of all, it sounds like, when we first hired that person or brought on that person to help you with the blog, like, even that's a big step to just ask for help. I think, some of us think we have to DIY everything, solopreneur, do it yourself. Tell us about the journey of like accepting help, accepting support, and then ultimately, having this amazing team around you to support you.
Yeah. There are people that prefer to work by themselves, and that's okay. I've always been the type of person, I'm a people person. So clearly,
Right.
I want to be surrounded by people. Like I could work from home and I'm not, I'm here in the office today and every
Right.
day, you know? So
Yeah.
I not only like being around people, but I like mentoring and teaching. So, in the beginning, because I did not really have a PR background, I was 100% self-taught. It was like a running joke in the office. Like I would have like an intern come in one day and I'd be like, so what'd you learn in class today? You know, like teach me and I'll teach you what I
I
know.
love that. Always learning. It's interesting. It occurs to me that you may not always be in the limelight yourself. You're often like, shining lights on your clients and folks like that. So thank you for the honor of getting to really dig into your story. You're not, I would say you're putting all your clients in the hot seat a lot of the time. So
Yeah.
how does it feel to be in the hot seat and like kind of dive into your story?
It's funny because I've done a few interviews for different charity events and things that we've done over the years. And I'm always like, oh, I forgot how hard that is. And I
Yeah.
much rather be putting my client out there or being behind the scenes. But I think it's important to inspire and just tell my story because honestly, like just like what you said, everyone thinks it's all peaches and cream and it's all fun and oh, PR looks so much fun. You go to so many events. Yes, it is. But I also go to a TV hit at 6 a.m. and I'm working an event the night before till midnight. Like people forget about the hard work that goes into it as well.
For sure. Let's maybe even go deeper if we can, because I think about the lives we pick as women. I don't have kids. I am, not married. I've not been married. And I think, there's women who are rethinking what it looks like to have a life as a woman, a creative, courageous life, holistically, what that can look like. And I'm now more on the writing, wordsmithing, copywriting, speechwriting side, but I did PR for a little tiny bit, and I have deep respect because you really are on call. I mean, you really going to get that call from, the news station, like you said, and you got to be on that. Like, tell us about how you look at your life holistically, being that you're a business owner, that PR is a commitment.
Yeah.
How do you think about that?
It's really hard. I mean, as women, I feel like we talk about self-care a lot. Thank God we're starting to talk about it, For me personally, COVID, and during the quarantine era, quarantine time taught me a lot.
Oh yeah.
QT. Yeah, it taught me a lot. It helped me slow down a little bit and realize like I don't have to be on every call. I have this amazing team that I trust, or I don't have to go to every event. Do I still love to do it? Absolutely. But I sort of like I'm getting better at picking and choosing and trying to figure out, like the whole like work smarter, not harder, like I hate that saying, but like it's kind of true.
When you figure it out, will you let me know? Because I'm
like, sure.
Still working on that too.
Exactly. So all of those things, with that said, is just a work in progress, just like everyone else. I usually say, if I'm with my family, especially like my nephews and my niece, that's when I check out. Like I can check out. I can concentrate on them. I can put the phone away. And it took me a long time to get there. It's not going to happen.
I mean, PR isn't on call.
Yeah, we're always on call. So it took me a long time to get there. And like I said, I'm still a work in progress.
I hear that. Well, I have to say though, I was very impressed with the process of kind of engaging with you for this interview. Like you have an assistant and she was handling the details and there was someone else handling the details. And like, I have utmost respect for that. Like you kind of, it seems from my perspective, like you had folks really making sure that you could just show up and be, your superstar self today. So kudos. From my perspective, it looks like you have really created a work kind of system. Would you say that's true?
Yeah, but I mean, like all that stuff that they
Yeah.
did, I could have done. But again, that goes into the like, this is a great teaching opportunity. This is a great moment where I can set them up to feel successful and feel like, oh, I booked that interview for Kate. Like, yeah, they did do that, and I want them to.
And by the way, team Philly PR girl. You all rocked it. You were so great to work with. So kudos. And Kate, great teacher, clearly, because everyone was so on it. Like, honestly, I mean, we've booked a lot of folks and like, man, Philly PR girl, you guys are tight ship.
Thanks.
Great.
That's the best compliment I can get for sure.
So tell us a little more about your clients, because, if you go on the Philly PR girl website, it's like logo upon logo of these amazing organizations that you have worked with. How does that happen? Like that you, first of all, just have amassed this amazing portfolio. I mean, tell us a little bit about that. It's incredible.
Yeah. I mean, me coming from a nonprofit background as my previous career, nonprofits are definitely something that we focus on. That's one of our core principles here that we work with. So not only women-owned businesses, nonprofits, and then just events and businesses in general that we're passionate about. So as far as our nonprofits are concerned, we work with amazing organizations like the Darren Dalton Foundation, Dimples for Days, Sandy Rollman Ovarian Cancer Foundation, all different, right? They're doing different things, but they're doing amazing work, for the community, for Philadelphia and beyond, right? So I love that. We work with amazing women-owned businesses like Danielle Massey, who owns the Wellness Collective. You would love her. I'll have to introduce you to her.
I would love that. Wellness Collective sounds much needed and appreciated.
Exactly.
Speaking of self-care.
Exactly. We talk about it a lot. And it's funny because sometimes I feel like in a way I'm like a therapist, with my clients, they'll call me and be like, this is hard. I didn't expect this, or, this event is not what I thought it would be, or how did you do this? So I always joke around, I used to tell my clients, be prepared. Year 1 and 2 are really hard. If and when you make it to year 3, that's when you can start to breathe a little bit, that's at least how I felt. And so I give them examples of when I was in their situation, because most of the time, there are similar situations for any business,
Totally.
Yeah. So I just, we work with really cool clients and
super cool. Yeah. That's amazing. And have there been any, I don't know, highlights or things that you just, when you think back at the past 10 years, like, oh my gosh, this was a moment where it all kind of came together and it just felt so good.
Yeah. Definitely events. There's some signature events that we do at Philly PR Girl. We have an event every year called Mind Body Bubbly that helps support women-owned businesses, and our charity is always human trafficking related to help with exposure and just knowledge of that. And then we also do an event every year called Turkey Day Tailgate. And we've worked with different organizations to support Big Brothers Big Sisters, work with Phil Abundance. So our signature events are always near and dear to my heart. But one that I loved was an event that I did with the MS Society for, I think, 6 or 7 years, called Preakness at the Piazza. Mm-hmm. And Preakness, it was an event that, was, again, near and dear to my heart because my grandmother has MS. And that wasn't even the reason that I took on that client, but it just became another passion project of mine. And I do believe that if you love what you do and if you're passionate about it, you just work 10 times harder and you don't even realize it.
Yeah, I love all of the, I don't know, how you light up when you talk about your work is very clear. That you're picking clients, right?
Yeah.
You're doing the thing. It's beautiful to see that.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. You had said something a minute ago that kind of struck me, which was that when you're with your family, you kind of turn off your phone, and that's like I'm off the grid with family. Is your I'm curious, when we go into business for ourselves, especially as women, families sometimes can be supportive. They can also be sometimes put a little fear in us, like, oh, you sure? You quit your day job? No.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, for sure.
Tell us about your family. How has, your immediate close kin felt about this? When you first left your job or left the 9 to 5, was there any?
For sure. My mom's the person that I go to every day with what do you think about this? Am I doing this wrong? And she gives me great advice that most of the time I take most of the time. But yeah, I mean, I think it's great to have a support system. You know, my best friend, again, I go to her all the time. Like, hey, what do you think? I remember back in the day, I used to even have her proofread stuff. She's a teacher. And I'm like, hey, tell me what you think about this, you know, or if I have to send a very sensitive email, she'll proof it for me, you know, and things like that. But no, I have a great support system, and I do think it is important. It doesn't need to be your immediate family. It could be friends. It could be, you know, someone that you admire, you know, that does what you do as well. Because there are times you're going to need to vent and talk to people that, you know, are not your colleagues or, you know, not your family and things like that.
For sure. I feel like that should be a meme. Like, who's the friend you call at like midnight to proofread your email?
Exactly.
Right? You need that friend.
There's one, and she knows, she knows who it is. Yep.
Special role in one's life. So, Kate, I feel like I've been speaking to some women who are in that kind of stuck place, or that in between place where they're maybe in a job that's just not fulfilling them any longer. And I think actually the pandemic really brought this to the surface of, you know, women realizing, right, that their jobs just weren't creatively fulfilling, satisfying. Maybe their lives weren't sustainable. It was just too much. The work-life balance wasn't there. What words of inspiration, looking back, might you give to a woman who just needs to get her foot kind of out of that stuck place, as you did, to kind of say, I'm just going to really do this? And it was interesting how you said you kind of had a false start at first a little bit. You went back, which is completely understandable. But what kind of words of motivation would you offer to a woman who just needs to kind of get on that track to her destiny?
Yeah, I mean, obviously it can be scary, but when you know, like it's time, you should just do it. Like, you know, even if financially you're not ready to leave a job, go volunteer somewhere on the weekends. Like, do something that you can meet new people in a career that you possibly want to go into, or just have fun doing something different, because then maybe that'll change your mindset with your job.
Amazing. Well, Kate, this has been so nourishing for my soul to hear about your journey. And I hope that being in the hot seat has felt good for you. I know you do a lot of speaking engagements as well, sharing your story, but thank you so much for taking the time to share it with the She Rocked It audience.
Of course.
I know everyone appreciates it here.
It's so great to finally meet you, and I love what you're doing. I love the people that you're interviewing and talking to. I've been listening to all the episodes. So, you know, it really, I know the amount of work that goes into this, hosting a podcast.
Thank you.
So it's not easy. So I admire you. I've had a couple people tell me, like, you should do a podcast. I'm like, no, do you know how hard that is? I'd much rather go on amazing.
You know what I just heard? I appreciate that. Just like you, this started as an absolute labor of love. And it's something that I know that I have to do, that our team is totally passionate about. And my team motivates me too. On those days that you feel tired, the team is there to lift you up as well. So thank you so much. And you know, Kate, I know you're a fan of the podcast, and thank you. That means so much from you. Then, you know, we always end with our final question, which is your one tip to rock it. You already have shared so many great pieces of wisdom with us, but if there's one tip that you should leave us with, the tip to rock it, what would that be?
I was thinking about it, but honestly, they should do what I did and just go for it. Just go for it. Don't be scared. I know that I had a little false start with second guessing myself, but if you want to rock it, there's no better way to just go for it and follow your dreams.
Well, congrats on 10 years now.
Thanks.
Come on, everyone. I'm giving her like a stand. I can't stand because I got on my wires. A standing ovation for 10 years of rocking it as Philly PR girl.
Thank you so much, Karen.
Thanks so much for tuning into the She Rocked It podcast. I'm your host, Karen Gross. This episode has been edited by Aaron Phelan and produced by Tori Marchioni, with audio engineering by Tung Chen. The She Rocked It theme song is by Karen Gross and Tim Motzer. Visit our Instagram page at She Rocked It to join the conversation, and visit our website, sherockedit.com, to learn about how you can join our Rockstar Network membership community, support our work, and attend our live events and podcast tapings. Hope to see you on the inside.